We got the New York Jets taking on the Buffalo Bills for a Week 2 matchup. Now, this is the ultimate preview and prediction video right here on Jets Media. We got a special guest lined up that's going to give us everything we need to know about our opponent of the Buffalo Bills. You guys know him very well. It's Mr. Dan Mitchell himself, one of the big hosts of the AFC East Roundtable, co-founder of Roundtable Sports, fourth and forever. And we're going to get deep into this matchup. Jets-Bills injury report news, matchups to watch. Let's get straight into it, and let's welcome in our boy, Mr. Dan Mitchell himself. Dan, welcome to Jets Media, man.
Damn, brother. I appreciate you having me, man. I'm excited to unpack this game for you. A lot of developments from the last time we previewed this on the AFC East Roundtable with Ed Oliver being out, and I'm not sure if you saw who was chosen to referee this game, but it's going to be a headache for both of our teams.
I did not see that, so I'm curious to give us the insight about the referees. Now, we did get the injury report officially from the Jets side of things. Sauce Gardner was on the injury report yesterday with the groin, but he's not even listed, so he's not going to be in question to play. He's going to be playing for the New York Jets, but the Jets ruled out 3 players. Nwangwu, our kick returner, Josh Reynolds is not playing, and our defensive tackle, Jay Tufele. So it seems like Alan Lazard is going to make his season debut after a healthy scratch last week. But the big injury in this game is Ed Oliver, who was dominant. Now, the Bills and the Jets had the 2 best defensive tackle performances of week number 1. Quinnen Williams was a monster in the game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Ed Oliver was a monster against the Baltimore Ravens, and he's out in this game, Dan. How does that injury to Ed Oliver impact the Bills' philosophy defensively going up against the New York Jets?
It's wildly frustrating because all Bills fans were wondering what happened, right? Because he was a full participant on Wednesday. Sean McDermott thought that it was a good idea to go full pads. I think he was mad at the performance from that last Sunday game against the Ravens. And I guess somebody just stepped on his foot, and it's an ankle sprain. So he's not going to be playing on Sunday, obviously. And then now we're even questioning of whether or not that he's going to be out there on Thursday Night Football against the Miami Dolphins too. But one thing I think that makes us feel optimistic, I love Ed Oliver. I think that he gets a lot of hate from Bills Mafia. I'm glad that he had the performance that he did last week. But to be completely honest with you, one thing about Ed Oliver is that he's never really been able to draw up a consistent season. He's very largely had like those, oh my God, he's looking like the next Aaron Donald, to, all right, Ed, why are you disappearing in the most important games? So say that we didn't have 2 defensive linemen serving a suspension, and say that we maybe had couple of other players that I would feel comfortable filling in for him, then we would be having an entire different conversation. But it's definitely something I think that could be a key factor for this team. I think we just need to cross our fingers and hope that TJ Sanders can go out there and mimic even slightly what that production is. But y'all's interior offensive line is going to be a test, especially for a rookie.
And I wanted to get a Buffalo Bills fan perspective of this New York Jets team. Obviously, you're speaking to Jets fans by being on my channel rather than Roundtable Sports. It's all of our fan bases. You know, what should Jets fans feel about that Week 1 loss to the Pittsburgh Steelers? I mean, there was so much optimism throughout the game, so many highlights, so many exciting plays, just to finish in a heartbreaking loss. The New York Jets, Dan, are ranked as the best offense in football after week number 1. The new culture is being felt immediately from Aaron Glenn. Detroit Lions fans are upset that Tanner Engstrand's the Jets offensive coordinator, not their offensive coordinator. It feels like Aaron Glenn stole him away, and we are reaping the benefits of that. How do you think Jets fans should feel coming off that week 1 loss to the Pittsburgh Steelers?
So I hate to be that guy to glorify moral victories, but I don't think that you should feel bad about that game whatsoever. Maybe I would raise some concerns about the defense, but again, as far as Aaron Glenn, you need to understand he is implementing a brand new system. It sounds like that he really takes practice seriously. It's a no-nonsense type of approach, which I really respect. And I think that once these players, although several of them being elite on the Jets defense, it's going to take a little bit of time for them to catch up. But on the offensive side of the football, I loved what I saw. And I think Jets fans should be super excited because we thought we had this picture of what the Jets' offensive game plan was going to be this past Sunday. And with Engstrand, he completely flipped the script. He completely went out there. He confused one of the best defenses in the NFL. And watching some of the development of Fields compared to, I mean, really even dating back to his couple of games over in Pittsburgh, like he looked confident in the pocket. Like he looked like a field general out there, being able to fool safeties with his eyes, being able to establish or reestablish that chemistry with Garrett Wilson. I think that, say that you can line up a couple of more easier opponents moving forward, I think what's important is going to be establishing that confidence for Fields. Again, like going into this season, I told you that I was very interested to see how he would do, because this is bar none the best offensive line he has ever had in his career. He's reunited with his college wide receiver, and I was not expecting that type of performance from your team, and I think Jets fans should be excited.
I mean, our offense being ranked number 1 has never happened, even though it's just one game. And all of this can get flushed down the drain if the Jets offense goes out there and puts up a stinker this Sunday. It's a week-by-week league, and everybody understands that. And I feel like there's a lot of interesting topics that we need to get into when it comes to these matchups against the Buffalo Bills. And as you can see here, I mean, you can see it on your screen. There's a lot of interesting matchups to keep in mind when it comes to these Buffalo Bills versus the New York Jets, and I wanted to get your thoughts about the overall matchups according to PFF. The Jets' offense are graded out really well. Garrett Wilson is the second wide receiver in football according to PFF after week 1. Breece Hall is the best running back graded out. Justin Fields, number 9 quarterbacks, but if you look at the passing grade, a 90.4 passing grade for Justin Fields.
Yep.
And that's pretty good for a quarterback that can't throw the football. And I think a lot of that has to do with the offensive line. Armand Membu, first tackle. And you see the Bills' defensive line, and there is no Ed Oliver because he is out in this game. You got Sanders replacing him. Gregory Russo's no bum. Joey Bosa's a very quality veteran from a defensive line perspective. But I think the Jets' priority this season, it's no secret, is running the football. And one of the biggest Achilles heels for the Buffalo Bills defensively is against the run. So how do you think the Bills match up against this Jets offense heading into this game from a defensive standpoint?
So I think what McDermott is probably thinking is that he's going to want to stack the box. He's probably going to want to rush 5. He's probably going to want to utilize man coverage. I think that he actually strays away from his overall zone scheme. Maybe he mixes in a little bit, because I do think that disguise coverages are really going to be something I think Buffalo can take advantage of to all but make Justin Fields prove that indeed he has taken that next step as a passer, being able to diagnose defenses pre-snap. But I do think going into this game, there's 3 different ways that this New York Jets team can beat the Bills, or hurt us, if you will. That's Justin Fields' legs, that's Breece Hall and the running back room in general, and of course that's Garrett Wilson. If I'm a gambling man, I think what Buffalo is going to do is really focus on the run, and I think the number that we need to watch out for is seeing if Justin Fields surpasses 25 to 27 pass attempts. If we see that by the end of the game, I think that is a quality strategy there. I have a lot of respect for Breece. I have a lot of respect for Braylon Allen. I do think that he is a dog, but I do feel a lot better with that game plan opposed to going up against Derrick Henry from last week. We'll see if it works. One thing I do hope is that Buffalo does not wait to sort of see what the Jets' pitches are so that they can get a good understanding of their sort of game and then make adjustments during the half. I really just want to start off hot and then just pick one poison for y'all to hurt us on, and that's Garrett Wilson. And just like Garrett run wild, just go on ahead and just focus on limiting that run and increase those pass attempts for Fields.
Yeah, Garrett Wilson was awesome in his first game.
Yeah.
After getting paid the big bucks as a true number 1 receiver. The question is that going to be something to watch? Because Josh Reynolds is injured now with a hamstring. He's officially ruled out. Allen Lazard is going to be making his season debut with this team. He was a healthy scratch last week, and Jets fans hate Allen Lazard. We have no confidence in this guy He has drop issues, penalties. We want Allen Lazard off this team. That's just what it comes down to. But that's definitely something to watch. But I think this offense is going to be really interesting. And that's the key for me, for this Jets football team to win, is this offense against your Buffalo Bills defense. Because when it comes to our defense against your offense, that's where I'm a little worried. Definitely a little bit worried. Now, there were some positives from the Jets defensively. Sauce Gardner and Quinnen Williams feel like they're back to their all-pro forms. Last year was a little bit underwhelming for both of their standards, but Quinnen Williams graded as the second best defensive tackle according to PFF. Sauce Gardner as the best corner in football according to PFF as well. And I think that this matchup, the Jets defense going up against your offense, is something to watch out for. Will McDonald, is he going to become that breakout star for us? 2 sacks in his season debut. So, Dan, how do you think this Jets defense is going to stack up against you guys? Because our defense did not step up in the clutch at all against Aaron Rodgers. Every time they got into the red zone, they scored with ease. And the one thing I know about the Buffalo Bills is whenever they're in the red zone, they capitalize with touchdowns. So what would you say about this matchup from a defensive standpoint for the New York Jets going up against the Buffalo Bills offense?
So it's tough to say, right? But one thing I can almost guarantee is that Josh, for the most part, is probably going to be avoiding Sauce Gardner. And that depends on what wide receiver he decides to guard. Say that I'm a gambling man, I think we're going to be seeing a lot of Sauce on Keon Coleman, right? It's physicality versus physicality. I think that with Keon can hurt you on paper, at least when it comes into like those more physical plays, 50-50 contested, and I couldn't think of a better corner to go up against that. I do think that there are a couple of windows where Buffalo can live on Sunday, and that is in the short middle of the field, and then more specifically against Brandon Stevens. I'm sure if any Ravens fans have talked to you right in your chat, I'm sure Jets fans probably feel the exact same way after, of course, watching this performance from this guy last weekend. But I do think that Allen is going to be picking on 3 specific guys. It's going to be Brandon Stevens. It's going to be the linebacker, not Quincy Williams. Remind me his name?
Sherwood.
I think that he's going to be testing Sherwood in coverage. And then I also think that he's going to be testing Tony Adams as well, right outside of the numbers. I feel like this game screams to me a Joshua Palmer game because, again, I think that Sauce is going to be really focusing on Keon Coleman. I also think that Josh is going to test it. We'll see whether or not that it works out because I do have a lot of respect for Michael Carter II. I think he's one of the best slot corners in the league. However, he was on the injury report with a shoulder injury. I think Josh is probably going to test that out and see how close to 100% he truly is. But yeah, man, like that, like mix in a couple of James Cook plays, especially in the receiving game. Maybe even Ty Johnson, who did very well right in the receiving game against the Jets last year. So I think we're going to be testing out a lot in the air. I don't think it's going to be that much of a rushing attack, especially since the Jets are actually pretty solid at stopping that run. But yeah.
A big matchup to watch for me is going to be Mr. Deion Dawkins against Michael Clemens. All right, I think there's going to be three or four fights between these guys. I mean, Deion Dawkins, one of the better left tackles in the NFL. Yeah. And listen, that's just one of those matchups that you're definitely going to have to keep an eye on, which I'm very excited about. Don't sleep on Jermaine Johnson as well on the other edge. A lot of focus is on Will McDonald. Johnson's getting healthy, coming off that Achilles last year. Unfortunately, went down with that injury. He looked really good in his first matchup, being back with the New York Jets on week number 1. And, of course, Harrison Phillips, his performance against the Buffalo Bills, we shall see. He said himself, I hope that game against the Steelers is my worst game of the season. He did not have a great Jets debut, but I think Jets fans are not going to complain about what he looked like because I think he takes a lot of presence and pressure off of Quinnen Williams. But, Dan, I wanted to get your thoughts of any locks you have on Sleeper. You know, if you guys want to check out Sleeper, they are the proud sponsor of Jets Media all throughout the season, folks. You guys can use the code JETS to get a 100% deposit match up to $100 by using my code JETS. You cooked up a parlay, and you have Braylon Allen scoring a touchdown, it seems.
I do, man. I do. I think that Aaron Glenn really wants to utilize him exclusively for your red zone back. I drafted Breece Hall in fantasy football, and I learned that the hard way after week 1. I was like, damn it, Aaron Glenn. Like, let Brees Hall eat a little bit, for my fantasy football
He
team's
ate, bro. He had 150 yards.
Yeah, he definitely did. But give me some of them touchdowns. You know what I mean? I was trying to put TD away sooner than we thought. But then afterwards, I have Dalton Kincaid. Again, I think that Buffalo is going to go on ahead and really test the middle of the field, those linebackers and the receiving. And Kincaid had a really good game last week. I think they pick up that momentum. His bar was at 35.5 receiving yards. I think he gets just there, maybe slightly afterwards. We have 2.5 receptions for Joshua Palmer. More than likely, he's going to be lined up against Stevens. I think Josh is going to want to pick on Brandon Stevens. So I think 2.5 receptions is all but a lock. I took more there. And then last but not least, I have Josh Allen. Since the Jets typically predominantly like to run man coverage, I think that opens up lanes for Josh to make plays with his legs. His line was sitting at about 45.5, and I went over on that as well.
My locks is a Justin Fields rushing touchdown. I mean, he had 2 in week number 1. It feels good to have a mobile quarterback. I know what it's like now. It's pretty
nice.
Cool. It's fun.
It's nice.
I mean, he's a real threat at running the football.
Policy.
Really, really nice, man. I mean, I think a rushing touchdown from Justin Fields is pretty much a lock. I'm also going to get Josh Allen to get a rushing touchdown of his own. So both quarterbacks I getting in the end zone. With their legs, I got Garrett Wilson getting more than 50 receiving yards. I think that's pretty much of a lock. I got Keon Coleman going to get less, baby, because Sauce is going to lock him up. Sauce Gardner locking up your boy. Honestly. And then I got Mason Taylor. No, I'm going to stay away from him. He's on the injury report. Braylon Allen, I'm also going to get in the end zone. So if you guys want to tell me, that is going to be my bet. $100 wins you $3,300. All right. Justin Fields rushing touchdown. Josh Allen rushing touchdown. Garrett Wilson 50+ receiving. Keon Coleman 46.5 receiving yards less. And yeah. So if you guys want to tell me, go check out Sleeper. I'm excited to lock this one in. Let's go. Now, Dan, I know that you are picking your Bills to win the game, and you do not have the Jets even covering the spread. You don't have the Jets being close in this one. Why do you think the Buffalo Bills are going to dominate this game? You don't have any respect for our New York Jets going out there at home? You don't remember us beating you 2 of the last 3 times at MetLife?
No, I'm just kidding.
Because you're talking to Jets Nation, and you're saying you're going to win by double digits. Why don't you tell us why?
So I'll tell you what. I did originally have it 31-17, right? Because, and this is no disrespect to Fields, but again, I need to see that Fields can be consistent, right? Like, I need to see that he can run that and look like a field general, make his reads, not get confused by disguised coverage. Something that McDermott does surprisingly well, like with that stuff, especially with guys that aren't as experienced as most. However, one thing I teased this episode with, and that was before I learned that Ed Oliver was not going to be playing. And then one special key that I'm not sure Jets fans are aware of, but the referee Cleet Blakeman has been assigned to this game. Rich, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Cleet Blakeman. However, he was the referee. His team was running the Week 17 matchup between the Bills and the Jets, and there was 23 penalties.
Oh, gosh.
There was 23 penalties. Now,
oh boy,
he's typically even, so between his flags associated with the home team and or the away team, it's like straight down the middle. But he is a stickler when it comes into false starts, holdings, and he was also the AFC Championship referee last year for Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs. Wildly frustrating. He's the flag happiest ref in the NFL. So I think one thing I can confirm from this game is that I think the referees are going to be frustrating both fan bases all game long.
Yikes.
With that, with being in MetLife, I have shifted my score prediction. All right. I no longer have the Bills scoring 30 points. I do see it being a 3-point margin, and I have shifted my score prediction to 27-24. Buffalo.
Damn. All right. Well, we shall see. I hope the Jets can pull off this upset, man, because if the Jets win this football game, we're tied with the Bills 1-1. We'll be right there with you tied. And I think this is a really good game for the New York Jets to win at home. It's either the Jets are 0-2 and the Bills are 2-0, or we're tied. And I think that's a big, big thing that Aaron Glenn is going to make sure this team is prepared and ready to go and go get the first win for Aaron Glenn as the New York Jets head coach. Dan, thank you so much for taking your time to come on Jets Media. Make sure you guys go check out Dan Mitchell's YouTube channel. I will be live during the Jets-Bills game. So will Dan. So if you guys are coming into my channel, go check out Dan when Justin Fields goes and shows him that he's not just doing it as a fluke. He's going to do it again on his Buffalo Bills defense. Dan, anything you'd like to say to the Jets fans before we wrap it up?
Man, you know what, guys? Make sure you go check out me and Richie on the AFC East Roundtable. Make sure you check us out on 4th and Forever. It's our daily NFL news show. In case you ever miss these faces and you want to see Richie outside of Jets Media, we'd love to have you. We're growing a really special network out there for all rabid NFL fans that are maybe getting sick of the mainstream and want new tastes. Highly recommend you go check us out and show us a little bit of love, man.
Yeah, go check us out, folks. We're building something special here at Roundtable Sports. It's me, Dan, and TD Finstock, and Colby, helping us out, and the rest of the guys. So with that, comment down below a Jet emoji if you stayed all the way to the end of this video. Let's go Jets, and we'll see you next time, folks. Peace.